Hello, my name is Nayeli. This is my assignment 2 for Chicano history. My first art piece was the Templo Mayor, as you can see here. The Templo Mayor, according to the YouTube video created by Khan Academy, Unearthing the Aztecs Past, was the largest pyramid in South America. It was created, and its last version was created around the 1500s. I say the last version of it because the Aztecs, as they would get new rulers, the newest ruler would fill the pyramid up with stone and sand, and then create the larger pyramid around the older pyramid. So this is the last version of it to have been created, as I try to depict as good as possible with the handouts. The Templo Mayor was the Aztecs' most important templo. It was a part of a larger precinct with multiple other temples dedicated to other deities, such as the sun god. The templo would have been brightly painted, as I try to depict here, with red and blue, and decorated with other sculptures that we'll get to in the video. The blue side right here, or the left side, was dedicated to Art.doc, the god of agriculture and the god of rain. And the right side was dedicated to Huitzilopochtli, the god of war and the god of sun. The modern day templo is in ruins because it was destroyed by the Spaniards during the conquest. So a lot of construction has gone around, and they have been unearthing it. In the handout, El Templo Mayor de Tenochtitlan by Contigo en la Distancia. At its last phase, the temple was approximately 45 meters high and 84.47 meters at its base, as well as at its base on Huitzilopochtli's side. Onto the next art piece would have been monolith. I know I didn't pronounce that correctly. I tried to pronounce it as best as I possibly could. Are also known as with bells on her cheeks, as given to us on the video of Khan Academy on campus. Along with the multiple layers of the temples that were created, she was recreated multiple times over and over again with every layer that was created. And she was always depicted in this way as dismembered and decapitated. As you can tell by the scallops on her body parts, it's supposed to show that she was decapitated. As you can also see, she is depicted in the nude, which was very problematic in the Aztec days. Nudity was just problematic in itself. And it's interesting seeing in her backstory. On to describing her, in the handout given by Professor Estrada, he points out important features. The first one, as I said before, the bells on her cheeks that give her her name. That's what people were supposed to use to interpret her name and know her name. As I colored in the image, some important factors that I noted on myself were the headdress, which to me just looked like something of importance. It's supposed to show her importance and show her place in society. So that being wealth, who she was, what family she was a part of. As well as the ear spools. These ear spools. Another thing that you can point out and we can see are the snakes at different parts of her body. So most of the time they're depicted at joints or where she was dismembered or where she was cut apart. They were always red with that blue tint, especially at the heads. They were red. This is important to her story at Snake Mountain with her mother and her brother, where she was killed for wanting to kill her mother for having gotten pregnant again, or having had given birth to a child. The last art piece I decided to do was the sunstone calendar, the Aztec calendar. I have some favoritism towards this, as we can see in the background. It's an emblem for Chicano culture and Mexican culture, and it's always been so powerful just knowing how how our ancestors were and how advanced they were, and how, you know, the Spaniards thought their culture to be so interesting. You can see in the artwork, this is colored by me, not printed out. You can see it's kind of a little splotchy. It took me about 4 hours to color it. I wanted to make sure to be as detailed as possible to honor my ancestors. In the structure itself, some important things that Professor Estrada describes out in his handout given to us are that it's not necessarily a calendar. It's a stone that describes the 4 previous eras or suns. So the first one that we can see is Jaguar. That one is right here. The next one would be Wind. That is this one. Fire and Rain. And then Water right here. As well as Oyin. I believe that's right here, if I pointed that out correctly. Some other things that we can see in the middle is the sun god Tonatiuh, I believe I pronounced that right. As I said before previously in the video, he was also supposed to have had a temple in the Aztecs ruins. There's also the 20 calendar names, which hopefully I don't mess up the way that it's drawn on here. This one is supposed to be alligator, wind, house, lizard, snake, skull, deer, rabbit, water, dog, monkey, grass, reed, jaguar, eagle, vulture, oyin, flint, rain, and flower. In the middle as well, Tonatiuh is shown to have had these claws right here, as well as I believe it's a sacrificial blade on his tongue. And then on the very bottom of the Aztec calendar, we can see the fire serpents of Tonatiuh as well.